What's going on, everybody? It's Lance Hayes with Sports Social Live. The Houston Texans had a great win. Great win, great win. The game just finished. So I'm giving you my quick initial thoughts on the Houston Texans win versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So without further ado, let's get into it. What's going on, sports fans, Texans fans, and even Buccaneers fans? We just had a hell of a game. The over was hit, and the Texans and Buccaneers battled it out. I mean, it was great defensive play throughout the whole game, but hell of a game. Great drive, finishing off by both Baker Mayfield and Stroud coming back with a great drive, connecting with Dell and others during the drive. I love that game. I'm glad the over hit. So if you followed me and you tell me the over did hit this week, so that is a phenomenal play right there. We made some money. But let's get into it. So the first thing for the Houston Texans, one in my initial thoughts, later on this week, I'll probably do some more in-depth thoughts. Might rewatch the film. I'm not a film watcher. Pretty much don't care about watching a ton of film, but I'll watch some highlights and give you my thoughts. On the outset, man, the Houston Texans injuries are the name of the game for the Houston Texans. It just seems like we can't get over the injury bug. If it's not our O line, it's our defense. But it's not just normal people. This game we had Fairbairn, our freaking kicker, Ward, and we had another safety go down during the game. I just can't get over what we did to the universe to have so many injuries affect us and impact us. It is kind of crazy, to say the least. But speaking of injuries, Deer Allison played a decent game. He had a couple. He had about. I think he had one call on him to add to our ton of penalties that we had this game. But Dieter played a decent game. It's funny. Dieter played a decent game before us. I'm okay with how he played. I'm okay with the O line play here. I believe that the Texans did the best they can. Fant, Tunsil, they did good down line. One of those calls from them was just completely crazy on Fant. But back to the injuries. How do you feel about the injuries? Tell me more. Tell me more. Like, what can we do to prevent these injuries? Tell me your thoughts down in the comments. It's Sports Social Live, Lance Hayes. But I want to just expand on the impact of the injuries with Fairbairn being out. I don't understand how we don't have a punter that's even halfway familiar with field goal kicking. I get it. He's a punting specialist. I get it. But to say that you can't pull a receiver over to hold while he kicks, and we have to go down to Dare Ogunbowale kicking Ogunbowale, excuse me, kicking field goals is freaking crazy. And I think that's something to be said and something to look into. But we have to give our hats off to number 33 for going in there and holding down the team. He definitely should get a game ball. If not, I mean, one of the game balls. I mean, Stroud with that last drive, it was crazy. But we have to give him his credit. He came in there, he kicked the ball as best as a running back could, a 7-year running back could, and he did phenomenal. Not phenomenal, but he made a way. I tried to play college football and play football my whole life. I had never seen a backup, a running back, or a backup punter not be able to at least punt the ball. Normally, you'll bring in your third string QB or a receiver to hold, and then that punter will kick. So it's kind of weird seeing that combination, and we're going down to a running back kicking the ball. But hey, it ended up working out for us, and I'm glad that it did. So I want to look more into Fairbairn's injury. Hopefully, we're able to at least get another kicker in on the squad just to help us out because as you've seen throughout the game, not having a kicker, not having a solid kicker throughout the game will really impact the offense, and we can't afford that as a Texans fans. But we're 500, so good job right there. So how do y'all feel about Fairbairn? What kind of kicker should we go out there and get? If any, who's going to talk to our punter and let him know that he needs to learn how to kick at least a little bit? more to come on that. So let me know down in the comments, and well wishes to Kaimi Fairburn, and I hope he gets better as the time goes. On to the next topic. Noah Brown balled out. Noah Brown had a hell of a game. As I just coming off here, if some of my stats are a little off, but I think he had 5 for 139 and 1 touchdown. If you crazy game, and it was a phenomenal game from him because they were kind of all over Tank Dell and Nico Collins. They're trying to jam them up with their awesome tie balls defense. So Noah Brown coming out and making the plays when it mattered was phenomenal. And then we had some great step up by Dalton Schultz. I was a little bit disappointed in Dalton Schultz this season, but he is balling. He's competitive. I think the whole team has that competitive edge and that will to not lay down in later seconds, and that's what we need. So shout out to Noah Brown for having a phenomenal game. 5 for 139 and 1 touchdown. I didn't see it coming from him. I do expect Dalton Schultz to have the types of games that he did, and it was great to see that. Shout out to Noah Brown, but he could not have done that without solid play from our QB Stroud, who had a good game, and our O line was decent this game. I don't mind what the O line was doing during this game, and I think Bobby Slowick called a good game for them to open up the passes to Noah Brown. I mean, it was a lot of play action there, not a dropbacks, but Noah Brown. Salute to you, everybody in the comment. Got to give you kudos. Give some kudos to Noah Brown down in our comments. That was phenomenal gameplay from him. So moving forward, we're going to go down. And I'm just going to finish it off here. These are just some quick thoughts. I didn't want to spend too much time because I'll go into that a little bit more tomorrow or tomorrow for me. I'm waking up watching this game in Japan. So right now it's about 6:39 a.m. 6:39 a.m. for me. I've been watching Texans games all across the world. So I wake up at 3, 4 o'clock and 2, 3 in the morning to watch these games. I am a true diehard Texans fan, a true sports fan. I'll wake up, watch the game, and struggle throughout the day. But let's go on to CJ Stroud. I was worried early in the game because it seemed like he was missing some of those throws that I think that he could have made. I think that he could have made some of the earlier throws. I think to Dell, um, to a few of those throws, I'm like, come on now. But to see how he kept his composure, kept up the drives, stayed in the pocket, man, that final drive. Let's talk about that final drive. CJ stayed in the pocket, extended some plays with his feet, just subtle movements that he does, and making those smooth throws is it's just phenomenal to see. And hey, I think we got us one. I think we have that QB that can do the things that he does. Shout out to CJ Stroud. Great final drive. It was a record-breaking game for him. I believe at one point he had 495 yards. And then finding Dell in the opening on that last, Dell finding those opening zones after being covered, double covered at some points was phenomenal. So that I wish they had the 7-3-7-1-3 connection. That would have been great for the H. But and the marketing team is probably hella mad. But great game from CJ Stroud. Tell me how you think CJ played. Tell me how you think he can improve. Bobby Slowick and Stroud seem to have a great relationship. At least they can take criticism from both parts, and I'm proud of that. So shout out to CJ Stroud. And you know what? That's going to conclude what I have today. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. The early subscribers to the channel. I just started the channel, but the early subscribers, I'm waking up early. I'm going to try to post as much content as I can for the Houston Texans, for boxing, and any sports in between. Thank you all for checking in. It's Sport Lance Hayes, Sports Social Live. Subscribe, like, share, follow us on Facebook.